Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Let's talk some recruiting. Is everybody okay with that? If you're not, I don't know why you would be listening, because I'm sure many of you are acquainted with what we do every day on this station from 2 to 3. We will be talking OU football and recruiting for the next hour here. Parker Thune alongside Grayson Singleton. This hour of programming here on the Ref brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC. And, of course, it will feature plenty of interaction with you, our listeners, via the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. Again, 405-651-3439. Now, Mr. Singleton, we have a new offer out today in the 2026 class for the University of Oklahoma, and it is at running back. The Sooners getting involved for yet another running back. So this expands the picture a little bit. 3 backs now in play for Oklahoma in the 26 cycle. You have Rylan Morris, the Baylor commit, who's going to OV the weekend of June 6th. You have Dzaphen Walker, the blue chipper from the state of Missouri, that's going to OV the weekend of June 13th. The newest offer for the Sooners at running back is a native of El Paso, Texas, Ryan Estrada, 2026 running back, regarded across the board, I believe, as a 3-star prospect. I don't think he is a 4 anywhere. 24/7 has him as a 3-star 88, so high-grade 3-star there. Rivals, no, I lied. Rivals actually does have him as a 4-star. He is considered a 4-star, according to Rivals. Official visits set, as of now, to Alabama on June 19th, Minnesota on June 13th, Wisconsin on June 6th, Missouri on May 30th. I don't know why I just listed those in reverse chronological order, but those are the 4 schools that are on top, that are at the top of the list, at the forefront of the picture for Ryan Estrada. Alabama, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Missouri. But now Oklahoma is in the picture. Immediate knee-jerk thoughts on this offer and what it means, Grayson. Certainly it indicates that Oklahoma is not moving forward with a sense of certainty that Rylan Morris is going to flip from Baylor.
Well, not even a sense of certainty that Rylan Morris is going to flip from Baylor, but also a sense of certainty that you'll be able to reel in Dzaphen Walker, too. As we talked about yesterday, Nebraska seems to be the lean there. This dude's good. This dude's really good. The first thing that stood out to me is that he runs straight up and down. That's going to be the one thing any college coach is going to clean up with him. He looks like he's 6'5" out there running, even though he's only 5'11". But a very, very fast dude. We talked about, let's contrast with Dzaphen Walker. Dzaphen Walker, he can move, but he doesn't have that breakaway third gear. This dude does with Ryan Estrada. Not only is he fast, he's extremely slick as well. He's got a nice little wiggle to him. College comparison, I'll give you one that you guys are probably going to like. Jaden Ott. He reminds you a lot about Jaden Ott with the way that he can turn and burn, but also is real slick in between the tackles. So, very fun prospect. To me, this says the same thing that it says to you, Parker, is that they're not really sure with Rylan Morris. They're not really sure with Dzaphen Walker. So, this is a good add to your board, especially when you hear that homie's going to OV to Alabama. That should tell you right then and there he's probably the real deal, and he certainly looks it on film.
See, this is interesting to me because, for one thing, like when I watch the tape on Ryan Estrada, my immediate thought is, okay, he's P4 good. He's P4 good. Is he Alabama good? Is he OU good? That's what I can't quite get a handle.
What makes you question that?
Okay, well, for one thing, the height. He's definitely not 5'11". He's definitely not 5'11", just looking at the film there. That's a generous listing. And also, like, he does have some burst. I don't think it's elite burst. I don't think, like, the traits are there. The traits are there. He's obviously not hit his ceiling yet. His best football is certainly ahead of him, which, if that's not the case, I don't think the new brain trust, Jim Nagy and crew, I don't think they're offering anybody, let alone a running back. But this, to me, is a little bit more speculative of an offer and of a take than the offers to Rylan Morris and to Zayfin Walker. I think Walker is a guy that realistically could see the field at the collegiate level in year one. I think the same is true of Rylan Morris. I don't necessarily have that same immediate stamp of approval type of feeling with Ryan Estrada.
I can get behind that.
But I will say this. The fact that Oklahoma is willing to kind of go off the beaten path, like how often have we seen them recruit El Paso or West Texas at all in recent years? They got Ivan Carrion, and that's probably about it, right?
They recruit East Texas more.
Yeah. Are there any other West Texas dudes on the roster besides Ivan Carrion, who was kind of grandfathered into the relationship with Emmett Jones because of the Texas Tech connection? Carrion was committed to Tech while Jones was there before he took the job at OU. So that kind of provided a natural inroad for Oklahoma to be able to go out to Odessa and land Carrion once Jones joined the staff. But yet another indication, Grayson, that Nagy and his personnel staff are not at all concerned with geography as they make these evals and as they kind of line up their priorities, if you will, in the 2026 cycle and beyond. So Estrada, to me, there's something there. There's something there. If OU gets him, great. One of the immediate reactions that I have as well is you're going to have to get somebody to move off of his OV slate because he's got all 4 weekends in the month of June booked. The weekend of May 30th, weekend of June 6th and 13th and 20th, all booked as of right now. So you're going to have to get him to drop a school if he wants to come see Oklahoma. But my thought is he's somebody that you're probably not going to rush onto the field. And that suggests to me more than anything that you feel great about what you have in the 2025 class with Torrey Blaylock, who did have a really impressive spring. Because with 2025 being a one running back class, Grayson, a one-take class, if you didn't feel like Torrey Blaylock was the dude and going to give you something in 2026 at the latest, you're probably looking more for a guy that can get on the field immediately as soon as he enrolls and make an impact. I think that was true of Jonathan Hatton when he committed to OU. I think that's true of Zayfin Walker. I think that's true of Rylan Morris. I don't know if it's as true with Ryan Estrada, but ultimately you don't need to have a guy on the field in year one if you have depth and you have talent amongst the upperclassmen in that room. And so this suggests to me that Oklahoma is pretty comfortable with the running back room in its current composition. You obviously have Jaden Ott that projects logically as your RB1 in 2025. You've got Javonte Barnes in the mix, and then you've got that younger crop with Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum and Torrey Blaylock, and don't forget about Andy Bass as well. So it's going to be a two-take class. At least that's the goal for Oklahoma in 2026. But their willingness to go pursue Estrada, to me, suggests good things about where their current group of running backs is headed development-wise.
I still think I'm with you that Estrada is not a day one guy, a plug-and-play type of guy in an emergency. I don't know why I'm higher on his speed than you are. I think it's because I saw him increase distance between him and the people chasing him. Also, I'll tell you what, though. I'll tell you another thing about him, too. He can stick his foot in the ground and explode through a hole. And I think that's something Sooner fans are going to like. Now, he's a little bit more of that Gavin Sawchuk type where he's gonna pick around and be patient and then want to see a hole open up before he goes through it, which is something you're going to need a more precise play from the offensive line. But I see a burst with him, man. I see a burst and I see a breakaway speed. Now, could that happen to be relative to his competition? Possibly. That's a real thing. But I see something there that is exciting.
Certainly, and that's the reason why, he's on the radar for so many Power 4 schools, and a couple of Power 4 schools in particular that do have a really strong tradition at running back. Alabama's obviously on that list, but Wisconsin, man, like anytime a back has an offer from Wisconsin, I tend to give him the benefit of the doubt, even if I'm not 100% sold on the tape, because Wisconsin, they don't take crappy backs up there.
No, they do not.
They very quietly, and I don't know, it's very quietly, maybe in this region of the country, sure, but over the last quarter century, expanded to 30 years because you got to throw Ron Dane into the mix, they have had some of the absolute best running backs that the collegiate game has seen. From Dane to a guy like Melvin Gordon to more recently Jonathan Taylor, who had one of the most underrated, underappreciated careers of any running back in the history of college football in the 3 years that he spent at Wisconsin. So he's got the Wisconsin offer. He's OVing up there on June 6th. We will see what comes of the Oklahoma offer, whether he sets an Oklahoma OV. Again, he's probably going to have to bump another school from his schedule in order to accommodate it because Reformed Sooner, I should say, asked on the text line, I thought they were unlimited official visits. Is it still just 5? No, you can take as many official visits as you want. So, I mean, theoretically, Oklahoma could have him on campus in, September, but Oklahoma would like to have all of their official visitors on campus the weekends of June 6th, 13th, and or the 20th, which is the Champ U barbecue. So, logistically speaking, it's not about they have to get him on campus. They have to get him to bump one of the other schools or else they're never getting their shot at him. No, he could carry his recruitment into the fall, and then you could make a play for a September official visit or something. But if you're trying to get the majority of your class locked in by the time the season rolls around, which is the goal for pretty much everybody in the Power 4 ranks, right, then what you're going to want to do is get a guy on campus for a summer official visit. I imagine that is the pitch that they will make to Estrada. They'll tell him, hey, you really want to go up to Minnesota on June 13th? Why not just show up to Oklahoma? It's a lot shorter of a trip, and come on, they're Minnesota, we're Oklahoma. Let's make this happen. So, a lot to take in there with the whole Ryan Estrada situation, but that is the newest offer for Oklahoma in the 2026 class, and we now will see if an official visit, I should say, comes to fruition. Jeff from OKC wants to know, does he make other people look not fast?
I don't know if I'd say that. He just makes himself look like they're faster than them. I will tell you this, for a guy that's 5'11", and I guess that's generous, according to Parker, I can see 5'10", something like that. He is a strider. Did that catch you, Parker? He looks more like a strider for a dude that is sub 6 feet.
That's certainly true. Yes, he is a strider. He does have, for a guy that size, pretty unique running style.
Yeah, that's very interesting. They run straight up and down and has long strides at that height.
Elsewhere on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, Cliff from Nashville says, the dreaded Wisconsin. Yes, the dreaded Wisconsin. Zach from Guthrie says, so you're telling me we should have kept Tawi Walker, huh? Where's he at? Is he at Cincinnati now? Is that where he's playing this fall? I think he's at Cincinnati. Old Tawi. What a guy. Love that dude. Hope he succeeds. He had success last year at Wisconsin. At least for a little while there. He had a run where he had a bunch of pretty solid games.
Yes,
Blake from Owasso wants to know, I'm guessing the Jonathan Hatton door is closed. Closed? No. Oklahoma's going to keep trying. Look, they are going to leave the light on for Jonathan Hatton as long as they can. Really, I've kind of gotten the sense that there will always be a spot in Oklahoma's class for Jonathan Hatton, regardless of what else happens at the running back position, if at any point he wants to jump on board with OU. But you got to be realistic, right? He's committed to Texas A&M right now. We know how Texas A&M tends to secure a lot of these commitments, and that makes it very difficult for guys to move off of those commitments to Texas A&M. So I am not under the impression that Oklahoma is going to flip Jonathan Hatton, but that is not something that the coaching staff has considered to be a foregone conclusion. They will continue to chip away. They will continue to recruit Hatton. They will continue to make an effort to get him back to campus at some point and get another shot at him in person. Whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But if he winds up in the class, great. I think if it does happen, that's just kind of a pleasant surprise. Not something that anybody should be planning on or counting on. Denver from Indiana says, man, I was on Twitter. Holy bleeping crap, Carson Kent is yoked, 8-pack. From anything you know, what type of tight end it is. That's a very random text in the middle of a conversation about running back recruits. But, yes, Carson Kent is definitely yoked. If nothing else, the Sooners transfer tight end from Kennesaw State, he got some muscle mass.
Didn't we say the same thing about Bauer Sharp last year?
I don't think we weren't remarking on Bauer Sharp's muscular physique. We were all remarking on Bauer Sharp's athleticism, of which there was a great deal. But he's not a great thrower of the football, as we found out. I would imagine LSU won't be asking him to operate any reverse pass type of concepts this year. Okay, 405-651-3439 as we prepare for a break here on Locked In. That is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line again, 651-3439. The dreaded Wisconsin, as Glenn from Nashville said, has punched back in a major way for an Oklahoma target at the linebacker position. That and more on the other side as we continue to talk all things OU recruiting here on Locked In. You're listening to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Come back with us.
I'm Noble McIntyre, and I'm the father of 3 daughters. Protecting them has been my highest priority.
Protecting the vulnerable should be the responsibility of all of us. Every year, thousands enter residential treatment facilities seeking safety and care.
Reports of abuse, including sexual and physical abuse of minors in their care, have plagued these institutions for years. Major facilities have been investigated, shut down, and staff convicted, but the problem persists.
If you or a loved one have suffered abuse, call McIntyre Law at 405-777-7000.
Beats and Bites Festival is back again at Riverwind Casino, where good grooves and great food are on tap all summer long. Kicking off on June 14th with Josh Turner.
Would you go with me?
And Edwin McCain. Along with crave-worthy eats from local food trucks, there's something for everyone. Get your tickets online or at the box office for just $10. Only at Riverwind Casino.
Why don't we just dance?
Experience the confidence you deserve at Confidence Ford of Norman, where we're dedicated to providing our customers with exceptional service. That means unbeatable offers on 2024 Ford models right now. Save an incredible $10,000 on a Ford Bronco or F-150 XLT, and save even bigger on an Expedition XLT with $18,000 in savings. Drive the Ford you've always wanted from a team that puts you first. Visit us today at 825 North Interstate Drive, Confidence Ford of Norman, part of the Cavender Auto family, where confidence is Cavender.
Springtime in Oklahoma means a near constant threat of severe weather and prolonged time without electricity. Before the storm hits, we encourage OEC members to download the My OEC mobile app and turn on outage text notifications, so you can be confident that when your power goes out, so do we. Visit okcoop.org/outage center for storm prep tips, a real-time outage map, live updates, and more. At OEC, safe and reliable power is our mission.
Schumacher Law Group, when experience matters. Tracy Schumacher is a former prosecutor and former district judge. Whether it's a probate challenge, criminal charges, or contentious divorce proceedings, experience matters. The attorneys at Schumacher Law Group provide compassionate, knowledgeable advice, all while fighting for your best interests. Find Schumacher Law Group online at lawgroupok.com or call 405-701-1882. Hometown lawyers ready to fight for you when experience matters.
It doesn't seem possible, but we're celebrating our 50th anniversary at Markham's Nursery this spring. Back in 1975, our family started our business down on the farm in Washington, Oklahoma. A lot of things have changed since then, but the honest and appreciative way Bill and Shree serve their customers hasn't changed a bit. Seasoned gardener or just getting started, we can help make your landscape or garden a success. Come celebrate our 50th with the folks who know how to grow in Oklahoma, Markham's Nursery.
Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
Looking for a trusted, locally owned and operated roofing company in Oklahoma? Black Thunder Roofing is a top-rated Home Advisor Elite Service Award winner and recipients of multiple Angie Superior Service Awards. They can do it all. Black Thunder also does free inspections and estimates. Locally operated in Norman and Edmond, Black Thunder Roofing serves OKC's metro area south of Purcell, Noble, Blanchard, as well as Yukon, Mustang, Bethany, and Piedmont. Visit blackthunderroofing.com or call 405-473-8028 for your free estimate today.
Wounded Warrior Project has been there for me since that first day in the hospital. They got me out of the house. They got me connected with other veterans, and they helped me face my PTSD. They support me and my family at every turn. And now I'm helping other warriors realize that they're not alone.
Through our hands-on programs, supportive community, and ongoing advocacy, we help post-9/11 veterans realize what's possible. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
From Estrada. Did not think he was 5'11". Does not seem that he is. But he is the newest offer for Oklahoma at the running back position, so get familiar with his name. Talked about him there in the first segment. High 3-star, low 4-star, depending on the service. A native of El Paso, Texas, plays his high school ball at El Dorado High out there. So the Sooners now in the picture for him. We'll see what becomes of the offer to Ryan Estrada. But some news, Mr. Singleton, as it pertains to 3-star linebacker Ben Wenzel out of Appleton North High School in Appleton, Wisconsin. Ben Wenzel visited Oklahoma unofficially last week. Oklahoma quickly emerged as the leader for his services. He acknowledged publicly to Rivals national recruiting analyst Greg Smith that OU is my number one school going into OVs. At the time, oddly, he had not yet been offered by Wisconsin, the hometown team. They had him scheduled, locked in for an official visit, but they had not officially offered him a scholarship. That changed yesterday, and evidently, Grayson, there's a lot of confidence from the Wisconsin side that they are going to get Ben Wenzel committed before he even has the chance to take an OU official visit. So it's quite the roller coaster of emotions for Oklahoma fans that would like to add the talented linebacker out of the state of Wisconsin. Over the last 10 days, he visits. OU looks great. Then Wisconsin offers. Now all of a sudden, there's a ton of confidence from the Badgers side of things. At this point, you simply hope that Oklahoma can succeed in getting Wenzel to campus for the Champ U barbecue and his official visit next month. Because if they do get him to campus, I like the Sooners' chances to wrap this up. But Wisconsin, naturally, is probably going to make every effort to ensure that he never gets back down to Norman.
Well, about damn time. I mean, my goodness. I mean, he's right there. I mean, he's a very highly touted prospect that is right there. I don't know exactly what took them so long. I don't know if they had other priorities at linebacker before they got to him and those fell through. I have no idea. But they got there. That's something. But here's the thing that Oklahoma's always going to be able to say is that the team, and this goes back to negative recruiting, the team that is right in your home said, we'll just kind of wait and see and all that. We'll toss you an OV, but we still don't know. Meanwhile, we went and got you. We went and made you feel welcome and made it feel like we wanted you. That's your pitch to Oklahoma, is basically to try to make Wisconsin look like they waited on you and you were second, third, fourth option, whatever. Wisconsin, on the other hand, look, Wisconsin's going to have an incredible pitch. They're in the Big Ten. Ben Wenzel's style of play would certainly fit the Big Ten, and he's the hometown team. And I'm going to just guess, based off of no information that I've heard, that he probably grew up a Wisconsin fan.
He did.
So that's going to be their pitch. But Oklahoma, this is one that if he gets to campus, you should be able to lock this down. And I would agree with the approach for Wisconsin as well. You got to make sure he doesn't get to Oklahoma.
Let me draw a parallel here. The parallel I want to draw, if we go back to the 2023 recruiting cycle, and I mean this was the topic of discussion, one of the OG topics of discussion, whenever Tyler McComas and I started doing Locked In January of 2022, we had this conversation on a darn near daily basis for months and months. When is Oklahoma going to offer Cole Adams? Very talented wide receiver who played his high school ball up in Owasso. He was a 4-star prospect in the 2023 class. I can't recall. He may have been the number 1 prospect in the state of Oklahoma that year was Beau Jandreau, who spent a year at Michigan State, a year at Kansas, is now at Miami of Ohio. It hasn't really worked out for him yet at the collegiate level, but he was the number 1 player in the state. Cole Adams may have been top 3. He was certainly top 5, one of the most coveted prospects in the state, and Alabama offered him over that winter, the winter after his junior year, while Oklahoma was still playing the wait-and-see game with Adams. It was months after Alabama had entered the picture that Oklahoma finally decided, okay, we're going to go on Cole Adams. We will offer Cole Adams. They threw an offer his way. I can't recall whether he actually took an official visit to Oklahoma or whether he committed to Alabama prior to getting the chance to go to Oklahoma on an OV. But needless to say, Cole Adams wound up at Alabama. This was an Oklahoma kid that had grown up an Oklahoma fan, very much coveted the Oklahoma offer. It made all the sense in the world that A, Oklahoma would offer him with how good of a prospect he was, and that B, he'd wind up at Oklahoma regardless of when the offer came down because that was the one he really wanted. But here came Alabama, ahead of the curve as far as Oklahoma was concerned. They offered 3 months earlier than the Sooners did, and they came with a very successful pitch. Hey, look, we're Alabama. We don't recruit the state of Oklahoma, not unless you're really freaking good. And here we are. Oklahoma hasn't bothered to offer you, but we're going to come into their state. We're going to walk within their state lines, and we're going to come make this push for you because we think you are good enough to be an Alabama football player. And it is that very pitch that Oklahoma has to put before Ben Wenzel. Not to say it will be as successful as the pitch that Oklahoma made to Cole Adams, but you see the parallel there. If you're Oklahoma, what you're telling Wenzel, what you're putting in his ear right now is, look, we don't recruit the state of Wisconsin. I can't even think offhand of the last prospect from the state of Wisconsin that Oklahoma would have offered, Grayson. I don't know if I've ever covered one.
Can't imagine.
I don't know if I have ever covered a prospect from the state of Wisconsin that OU has taken an interest in. But they took a very strong interest in Ben Wenzel before Wisconsin entered the picture. And not only did they offer him, but they pushed for him. They got him locked in for a Champ U Barbecue official visit. Guys don't get invites to the Champ U Barbecue if Oklahoma doesn't believe with 100% certainty that they are capable of playing football at the University of Oklahoma. And so you're telling Wenzel, look, they messed around with you for so long. Did they want you or did they not? Is this offer a sincere offer, or is it a freak-out offer because they realize that unless they do get involved, you're just going to pack up and come down to the Sooner State, and they'll miss out on their chance to land you? Is this offer reactionary? No doubt that's a question that's got to be swirling in Ben Wenzel's mind as it is. Does it matter? I'm not sure. But if you're Oklahoma, what you're trying to do here down the stretch with Ben Wenzel is just make sure you extend this process long enough that you get your final shot at him at the Champ U barbecue. He's seen campus. He knows everything that OU is about. He knows what he's in for development-wise should he choose to play for Brent Venables and Nate Dreiling in the Crimson and Cream. And so you're just trying to continue sowing those seeds of doubt in his mind about the situation at Wisconsin and why they finally decided to pull the trigger. Also, the reason I think in particular why it feels so reactionary, at least the casual observer, Grayson, is because if Wisconsin was going to wait this long, why would they have offered him now, the week before his official visit, instead of just making it a big ceremony and production to officially extend him the offer on his official visit? I think Wisconsin might have just realized that they were running out of runway here.
Well, yeah. And if they waited till the OV, your chances of basically what you're banking on is he's going to be so wowed by the offer at the OV, if you make a big spectacle of it, that he would just commit on the spot. That's what you were banking on, that sort of emotional reaction. And quite frankly, I just don't think kids are doing that anymore. I don't think that impresses them anymore. So you have to, if your goal is to make sure that Ben Wenzel doesn't get back down to Norman for an OV, you probably had to extend that offer ahead of time before he comes onto campus in Madison for his OV to Wisconsin. So that would be my gut reaction to that. But the reality of the situation is that Oklahoma should be in the lead here because Wisconsin just messed around with this recruitment. By the way, it's on the text line right now. I think you might appreciate this, Parker. Glenn from Nashville, Mason James says hello. The only difference here is that Oklahoma did offer Mason James and eventually pulled out of the sweepstakes. But there is some sort of similarity to a couple of guys that may feel slighted by the in-state school, and in Mason James' case, the school that is right down the road.
Quick note here from Doug in T-Town. Parker, how do I listen to the OU baseball game? Yeah, we're still about 2 hours away from first pitch down in Hoover, Doug, potentially longer. But you're going to be able to hear the OU baseball game here on the Ref. So just stay tuned. Whether you were tuned in on the app or via the traditional radio dial, you will be able to hear OU baseball this afternoon on the Ref whenever OU and Georgia do hit the field in the second round of the SEC tournament. Now, I think the other important aspect of the Wenzel recruitment is, though the Wisconsin offer does seem to have changed things, at least as far as the confidence level on that end. Like I was told, Wisconsin actually went ahead and canceled 2 scheduled OVs with other linebacker targets in the 2026 cycle because they're that confident that they're getting Wenzel.
That's
so evidently,
bold.
Yeah, they feel like it's a done deal now that they've offered. They feel like he's going to be a Badger. That may be true. That may not be true. We will soon see. But the other important thing to consider here is that there is not a ton riding on Oklahoma's recruitment of Wenzel specifically. This linebacker class is not living and dying with Wenzel's decision. They really want Wenzel. They do. But you already have one commit in Ja'Cory Smith. You feel like you're trending pretty well for another in Beau Jandreau. You have numerous uncommitted official visitors coming to campus next month that you'll have a really good shot with, i.e. Braxton Lindsey, Adam Balogun Ali, etc. And so you're going to be able, I think, to piece together a class of linebackers that numbers 3, potentially 4, and is deep with and fully stocked with legit year one impact type of talent. Obviously, not all those guys are going to see the field in year one when they get there, but they're going to have the capacity to. I think they're going to have the ability to. It's not their ability that's going to hold them back. If anything, it will be the depth at that position. So if you get Wenzel, great. I think that's an awesome pull out of the state of Wisconsin. Love him on tape, man. Absolutely love Ben Wenzel as a prospect. But if he wants to stay home and be a Badger, Okay, that's all fine and well. You just move on. Now, the other interesting complication, if you can call it that here, Grayson, is that Beau Jandreau has not yet committed to Oklahoma. We know that much. But he's actually going to take official visits to Texas and Oregon and says that he is still, as of this moment, undecided, still praying through it, processing everything, and it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to wind up at the University of Oklahoma. Obviously, I think everybody favors the Sooners to get that one done during OV season, but worth mentioning that he does intend to take an OV to Texas the weekend of June 6th and an OV to Oregon the weekend of June 13th.
Well, this should be fun. Here's the interesting kicker to this, is that when somebody says I'm still praying about it, that can mean one of two things. The one that I'm going to highlight is he may not, especially with a family as deeply rooted in faith as they are, he may not feel like Oklahoma's his place. Now, will he split with his twin? I don't know. I would presume not. But if he feels like he's called elsewhere, and by the way, please nobody take this as sacrilege because I'm not trying to be sacrilegious here. I feel the need to throw that out there. I'm not trying to make fun of anything. But if he does feel like he's being called elsewhere, he may go elsewhere. So that's a very interesting quote because he doesn't seem like a guy who would throw that around and not be genuine about it.
100%. I mean, if you're praying through it, if he says he's still undecided, he ain't lying in front of God, right?
Yes.
You believe him when he says that. Now, again, that doesn't mean he's going somewhere other than Oklahoma. In fact, I think quite the opposite. I do think he's going to wind up at Oklahoma. I fully believe that. What are the odds that twin brothers choose different schools when they have the opportunity to play at a place as prestigious and rich in tradition as the University of Oklahoma, let alone given the opportunity to develop under somebody with such a resume and such an impressive track record as Brent Venables? So I think this is happening for Oklahoma, but I think what the recent news surrounding Jandreau's recruitment, i.e. the news of the visits to Texas and Oregon, will tell you is that it's not happening for at least another month or so. If you get Beau Jandreau / when you get Beau Jandreau, if/when, it's not happening until he gets on campus for the OV to Oklahoma at the absolute earliest. He's going to see Texas. He's going to see Oregon. And, hey, you know what? There may be some fans that don't like the fact that he's going to check out those two schools just on principle. But, hey, man, you're 17 years old. You get to take all expenses paid trips to the heart of the state of Texas, to the beautiful Pacific Northwest. You get to eat some good food. You get to do some photo shoots. You get to stay in nice hotels. Sure, man, go take a Texas OV. Go take an Oregon OV.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it, man.
I would
savor it. It was funny. I was on the phone with him last night. He said, yeah, I mean, we never really wanted to go to Oregon State, but Oregon State gave us a date for the OV in the beginning of May, and we didn't have anything else going on, so we figured, hey, might as well. Which, again, as you should, right? If you have the opportunity to take all expenses paid trips anywhere, this is not just a principle of the recruitment process. This is a principle of life. If someone is offering you an all expenses paid trip to anywhere, unless it's Lubbock, Texas, just take it. Take it. You should not find yourself asking many, if any, questions about it all. Take the all expenses.
Well, hold on now, because there's probably some examples in society where all expenses paid trips have gone wrong.
I took a dark turn.
You just gonna go anywhere with anybody? That's the, that was one of those staple catchphrases from my parents.
Oh man. Well, within reason, if you can get an all expenses paid trip somewhere, take the trip. Take the trip. All right. Keep hitting it up on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. Again, 651-3439. This hour programming on the Ref brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC out in El Reno. We will wrap up the show with another segment of OU recruiting talk on the other side. Keep it right here. You're listening to the Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Do you eat, sleep, and breathe Sooner football? We do too. This is the Ref, home of Sooner fans.
What's up, Ref Army? It's Dusty Dvorak. Do you eat, sleep, and breathe football? KREF is the only place for the most comprehensive daily analysis of Sooner and college football. Catch me every Tuesday and Wednesday during the 10 a.m. hour of The Plank Show as I cut it up with Plank and Josh about everything in the world of Sooner and college football. That's every Tuesday and Wednesday on The Plank Show, and there's only one place to hear it. The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Download the KRF app today to listen from anywhere.
Memorial Day deals are here at Eskridge Honda. Did you know that Honda offers 8 new vehicle models, all priced under $30,000? Like a new 2025 Civic Hatchback Sport for just $27,500, or a new 2025 HRV LX front-wheel drive for just $26,000. Come see all of our Memorial Day deals at 89th and I-35 or online at eskridgehonda.com.
2025 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport 27.5, stock number 250679. HRV 26,000, stock number 250821. WAC through Honda Financial Services. See dealer for details. Offer in 6/30/25.
In the age of internet and all things fast-moving, it's hard to find people you can trust. When it comes to your home or business electrical systems, don't settle for anything but the best. Wade Electric has been serving Oklahoma since 1969 and will gladly address your electrical needs with diligence and professionalism. They specialize in service upgrades, exterior and accent lighting, power automation and controls, shop and outbuilding wiring, LED conversions, and more. Go with a name you can trust and call Wade Electric today at 405-329-1940.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu.
Would you like to play a more active role in your health? At Hightower Clinical, we believe all Oklahomans should have access to new potential treatment options through clinical trial participation. Our team wants to support you with the best care possible through clinical trials. No health insurance is required. Compensation is available for eligible study participants, and study care is provided at no cost.
Having the chance to go through a trial and find out if something works for them and makes their life easier, I would recommend them do it.
To learn more, scan this QR code and visit our website.
For 3 generations, the John M. Ireland and Son Funeral Home and Chapel in Morris continued to serve the community by giving back to local schools, charitable organizations, and first responders.
We provide pre-planning for funerals and cremation services at the most reasonable prices.
We are proud to be a family-owned and operated funeral home.
Award-winning funeral home year after year, our family believes in serving the people of our community.
I'm John Ireland.
And I'm Solon Daniels.
You've got our word on it.
No matter what a strong future looks like to you, you can start building it with a home equity line of credit from Armstrong Bank. There's no time like the present to take advantage of your home equity. From home renovations to wedding expenses, vacations to new cars, the future is yours with a HELOC from Armstrong Bank. Visit armstrong.bank/HELOC to get started. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Exciting news for car buyers in Norman and surrounding areas. Sooner Kia of Norman is under new management with new construction coming soon. At Sooner Kia, they believe that every customer deserves excellent service and expert knowledge about their incredible Kia models. Whether you're interested in the sleek K5, the versatile Sportage, or the eco-friendly EV9 or EV6, they've got you covered. Join the Sooner Kia family today and discover how they're making car buying in Norman and OKC easier and more enjoyable than ever. Visit SoonerKia.com, where great deals and exceptional service meet.
Somebody in the 405 on the text line said, basically, Parker is advocating become a sugar baby.
Yep, that's exactly what Parker Thune is saying. Yes, Parker Thune is advocating for sugar babies.
If you can take an all-expenses-paid trip with no strings attached, I should clarify, take the all-expenses-paid trip. You're a sugar baby, for instance, if Oregon State wants to bring you on the OB,
where are
but
you
they
going
say
here?
you have to commit to Oregon State, or else you don't get to take the trip. Obviously, that's an entirely different conversation. Beau and Niko Jandreau are not taking that trip if they have to commit to Oregon State while on the visit. But again, as long as there are no strings attached, take the visit. Take the visit. Enjoy it. This was crazy. Grayson brought this to my attention in the break. I guess ESPN considered replacing Around the Horn, which has been running for as long as I can remember, but is going away next month, I do believe. They considered replacing it with a Shannon Sharpe show until, of course, Shannon Sharpe found himself in hot water because of his association with an OnlyFans hoe. And, folks, this is yet another principle of life. Don't get caught up with the wrong crowd. And the wrong crowd in this context is the OnlyFans hoes, particularly that crowd. Stay away from them.
I don't know how many of our listeners are in the demographic that would be targeted by women that do.
What are you saying about our listeners? Are you calling them ugly?
No, I am.
Are you calling them poor?
They all come off as married with families.
Okay. That was a good save on your part.
That was not a save. That was not a save. That was the truth.
Oh, Shannon Sharpe could have had his own show, filling the slot that had previously been reserved for one of the most iconic ESPN shows of the modern era, and instead he is on indefinite hiatus.
Do you would you have liked a Shannon Sharpe show? Because I kind of would.
He's very entertaining.
He is incredibly
very entertaining. That's why there's such a market for his services. That's why he makes so much money. He is an incredibly entertaining human being. But it seems that he took some of the adventures a little bit too far in this particular instance and is now paying the price for it professionally.
1-star Chonky Chuck on the text line. I'd pay for Gunny's OF. What are we
What
are we doing here?
Hold up.
Whoa.
Oh, Sooner Dude says Parker has obviously never been on a timeshare vacation to Branson. Absolutely not worth it. You're ready to choke somebody by the end of that presentation. Silver Dollar City is cool.
Wait, hold on. My parents actually have been to one of those presentations, too.
Oh, no way.
Yes, they have. We have been on timeshare vacations in Branson.
We used to vacation every other year, not in Branson, but close enough down there on Table Rock Lake. And
okay, yeah.
I've been to Silver Dollar City a time or two. It's been probably 15 years, but it's a nice little spot. It's fun if you're a certain age. They got succotash.
They got what?
Succotash.
What is that?
It's like a, I don't even know. Like it's not like a. Would you call it a stew? But it's a dish that they serve, and there are like stands all over at Silver Dollar City, or at least there were when I was a kid, where you could get succotash, and it's this dish of, I think it's corn, it's lima beans, and okra? Is there okra in succotash? Somebody will know better than me on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line.
Chonky Chuck.
Chonky Chuck says he followed up his text that I'd pay for Gunny's OF by saying, not in a weird way.
Dog,
is there a non-weird way?
There is not a
Chonky
non-weird way to say you would buy another man's OnlyFans.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you dug yourself a little too deep with that one. A 918 listener here says in the Bible to be careful who you align yourself with. Those heathens in Texas and outright un-American D-bags in Oregon are ones to stay away from. Well, there you go. Just pass that along to Nate Dreiling. Let him know that's all he needs to tell Beau Jandreau to close out that recruitment.
Gunny says, who was it that wanted my OnlyFans link?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, let's wrap up with a couple of other recruiting storylines that are taking shape right now. I threw in a FutureCast prediction last night for a defensive end target in the 2026 class, that being Matthew Nelson out there in Bryant, Arkansas. High school teammate of Ja'Cory Smith. Two-team battle taking shape. So he's got official visits set to Tulsa and to Tulane in addition to Oklahoma. So you would hope, Grayson, You would hope that's a battle Oklahoma can win. I can't remember the last time Oklahoma was in a battle with Tulsa and well, actually I can. It was OU or Tulsa for Josh Isosa. Oklahoma obviously won that battle. I can't ever recall an OU Tulane battle, but that's really what it is right now. It's OU and Tulane for Matthew Nelson.
You should be able to win this one. And for a guy like Matthew Nelson, who certainly has Power 4 promise, it's interesting that there's not another school with interest that has drawn interest from Matthew Nelson.
Now, I'll say this. I get it because the production's really not there. He had two sacks last year.
True.
Now, the athletic profile is super exciting, right? 6'5", 215 pounds, the best hurdler in the state of Arkansas. He's got a very, very impressive overall athletic profile. And it's clear that this is a guy that you're projecting with. It's not about what he is right now. It's about what he will become and what you feel he can develop into given proper coaching. And this, Grayson, I'll be honest, in isolation, this is not an offer that makes sense. If you are only taking one defensive end in the 2026 cycle, at the University of Oklahoma, it probably shouldn't be Matthew Nelson. But obviously that is not the plan. Oklahoma would like to take 3 defensive ends in the 2026 cycle. And let's say, for instance, just to pick one plausible outcome, you wind up getting Jake Krell and you wind up getting Daniel Norman.
Okay.
To say nothing of Kevin Ford Jr. or DeAnthony Lafayette, both of whom are very much in the picture for OU. If you get 2 of that quartet, Krell, Lafayette, Norman, KJ Ford, then what you have is you have 2 guys that come in and offer immediate day one contributing potential.
Yes.
And in Krell's case, I would be shocked if that's not a guy that's on the field a ton as a true freshman.
Agreed.
But you have 4 guys right there that are pretty tailor-made to step in year one and give you something. So if the third guy in that picture is Matthew Nelson, then you're good and you feel a lot better about it because he's probably going to be more on the track of a guy like Taylor Wine, who doesn't really pop until year 3. And I guess we don't know right now that Taylor Wine is going to pop, period, but he's taken steps in that direction that spring, and that's the expectation for him going into this fall, is that he's going to emerge as a contributor for the first time in his career at Oklahoma. So with Matthew Nelson, it's not about what he is as soon as he steps on campus. It's about what he can be by the time he's a redshirt sophomore or a redshirt junior. That's what you're counting on. That's what Oklahoma sees in Nelson. They see a guy that in the long term can develop into a monster. And he has moved up his Oklahoma official visit by 2 weeks. He was originally scheduled to visit for the Champ U barbecue. He'll now be on campus for that June 6th through 8th weekend.
I think that's a good sign because it seems like as long as he likes Oklahoma, he's ready to shut this down. That's what that says to me when you're moving it up 2 weeks. It's like, okay, I like what you've given me so far. Let me just go here, see if I vibe with it, and then if all goes good there, I'm ready to sign on the dotted line. That's what that means. But to continue the point of his athletic profile being so interesting and so exciting and presenting a lot of upside, to me, that's why I'm kind of surprised that there aren't other Power 4 entities that are involved here. You're right. He does not strike day one, maybe even day 2 kind of potential where he could get onto the field early. But how many times do we see programs take in guys with his sort of bend and his sort of dip and his athletic prowess, not to mention his body type, as a developmental project? So to me, that's the interesting part of all of this.
Now, with Matthew Nelson, it is very rare that you will see me enter a future cast for a prospect that has never visited campus, and Matthew Nelson has never visited campus. But a lot of factors in play that go into why I made this prediction and was comfortable doing so. For one thing, it's the rest of the offer sheet, right? The only other 2 schools from the Power 4 ranks that are involved for Matthew Nelson are Houston and Cincinnati. And neither of them are drawing official visits from Nelson. Like I said, this is primarily an OU Tulane battle. But also it's the fact that they check, I should say Oklahoma checks the boxes for Nelson from an academic standpoint, which Tulane doesn't. Oklahoma can offer him a degree in aerospace engineering. And how often do you see a college football recruit, a college football prospect that wants to get a degree in aerospace engineering? But he told me last night, he said, look, I want to build planes. My life after football, that's what I want to spend doing. I want to build planes. And so he's a guy that is very academically oriented, very mindful of the fact that he's going to have to spend a lot of extra time outside of the football building working on the academic demands of a degree like aerospace engineering. And Oklahoma, evidently, offers him a lot more opportunity to chase a dream like that than Tulane does right now. So feel really good about where Oklahoma sits in that recruitment, and we'll continue to track it as OV season draws near. That's a wrap for Locked In here on a Wednesday. We've covered a lot of ground, and we will cover a lot more ground tomorrow when we hit the airwaves again. Same time, same place. For Grayson, Singleton, I am Parker Thune. Thanks to Cavens for hosting me today. The Rush comes your way next with Teddy Lehman and Tyler McCall.